Hello, well in this video we're going to create a sample program that shows how to pass data to a new activity or a new window, as you may have known it. So I'm going to go ahead and create an empty activity. I'm going to wait and Gradle building it. Yep, so there we go, we've got our activity. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open our layouts again. And on this first layout we're just going to add some free buttons and use the constraint system at the bottom just to sort of stay in place. And we're going to ID them. Button 1, 2 and 3, and these are just there so that we can pass different data to the new activity that we're going to create in Kotlin itself. So I'm going to go ahead and rename them, constrain them. There we go, we've got our button 1, 2 and 3 IDs. So we have our IDs now, the buttons are in place, we've got our text in the middle, text box. So I just went and looked and noticed that I'd missed a constraint on one of them, well, 2 of them I think. The button 2 isn't constrained to the bottom, so we'll go ahead. So we've got our constraints in place now, we can now go back to our activity. So within here we're going to go and set up in Kotlin our on-click listeners. To do that we need to actually find it, so find view by ID. If I type button, let's import it so we can actually use it in r.id button 1. And with that, once we've got it as a variable as button, set the on click listener, and then we'll put our code in there that we want to run when the button's clicked. So in this case we're going to create an intent. We'll leave it blank because we don't have an intent to actually fill on it yet. So from there we're going to input intent, and this is just to include extra data. So the key is going to be ID and the data is going to be 1. We can read that in the new activity or the new intent. And there we go, start activity. So we will come back and finish our bit, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to copy it 2 other times for the other 2 buttons. So button 1, take the var away, button 2, button 3, and change the data we're sending to it. So I'm just going to send simple data and integer to these just now. It just makes it easier to show in the sample and keeps it simple and condensed. So we're going to go ahead and create a new class, and I'm going to call it item info. And then this is a class that we're actually going to read the data and display it. So, but we need to allow it to inherit. We're going to go ahead and create the onCreate. Now that's not the correct onCreate because we don't need a persistable bundle on this one, but we will fix it in a minute. So saved instance, we don't need the persistence. I'm going to re-import that which I just deleted. The app compatibility, app part. Add that, there we go. We've got our onCreate, we've got our call on our super, and we're going to set content view in a saved instance. Now, we don't actually need a saved instance, but we will repair it in a second. So from there, we're going to go ahead, val data, and get the intent, or get the int on the extra information, and we know the name of it is ID, and well, we don't know the value, but we can set a default value. I'm going to set it to -1. That's if that doesn't, just in case item ID doesn't actually exist. So, and then the text view, but we've not actually created the XML for the text view yet. So we're going to go ahead and create the layout activity. I'm going to put in an empty activity. I'm going to name it activity item info. I'm going to finish. Now that creates Kotlin and everything. Now we don't need the Kotlin file, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. You could have just created the XML, but yeah. So once this, we've got our constrained layout in our item info. And for now, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. We want it to reference item info Kotlin and not the Kotlin file we just deleted. And we're going to add a text view. Now I was going to add an XML, but there's no need. We can just drag and drop it. Constrain it so it's in the middle of the screen. And give it an ID. I'm going to call it data view. From there, yep, refactor it. We've got our intent this time. And find view by ID, text view, and it is r.id.dataview, and then import text view. If data is not equal to -1, so if it isn't the default value, set the text view to passed in, and we'll just use toString from the data itself. So data is, we know it's an integer, so we'll just toString it from the previous screen. Else, set the text in the text view to no data passed. On there we've got a couple of errors, and that's from the set content view not being correct, because we need to pass in the activity, the actual view, which is the activity from our XML. Go ahead and remove the import we don't need, and then fix our intent in. So we're going to pass in this, and then we're going to pass in item info. I call it, tell it it's of a type class from Java. So repeat that in them all, and that's it. That's actually creating the new window programmatically, passing data to it, then displaying it. So we'll go ahead and run it. Now I know, because I've missed something here. Oh, there's an error. I have missed something, and it is just because we've not declared it in the manifest file, and that's because we created the layout activity, so it's still referencing the Kotlin file. So we can go ahead and reference the correct XML instead of the correct Kotlin file in it, and we'll go ahead and run it, and there we go. We passed in 1, passed 1, passed 2, passed 3, 2. That's us passing data to a new window, meaning we can dynamically load.